Welcome to the Daki Institute, where we explore some of the most profound questions humanity has ever asked. Today, we begin a journey into existentialism, a philosophical movement that has shaped the way we think about life, freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning. Existentialism is more than just a school of thought. It is a lens through which we examine human existence, asking questions that are both timeless and urgent. Who am I? Why am I here? How should I live? At its core, existentialism concerns itself with the human condition, with the experience of being alive in a world that can seem indifferent, chaotic, or even absurd. The roots of existentialism can be traced back to the 19th century, although its questions are ancient. Philosophers such as Søren Kierkegaard in Denmark and Friedrich Nietzsche in Germany began to explore themes that would later define existential thought. Kierkegaard, often called the father of existentialism, focused on the individual and subjective experience, particularly the anxiety and despair that arise when we confront the limitations of human existence and the challenge of faith. For Kierkegaard, life was a deeply personal journey, one that could not be reduced to social norms, objective truths, or institutionalized religion. Nietzsche, on the other hand, famously declared that God is dead, a provocative statement signaling the collapse of traditional moral and metaphysical certainties. Nietzsche challenged humanity to create its own values and embrace freedom, even in the face of a seemingly meaningless universe. His ideas about the will to power and the creation of meaning resonate deeply with later existential thinkers, emphasizing the radical responsibility we bear in shaping our lives. Existentialism fully emerged as a movement in the 20th century, particularly after the devastation of World War II. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Albert Camus, and Martin Heidegger asked questions that were not purely theoretical. They were practical and urgent. Sartre, perhaps the most well-known existentialist, argued that existence precedes essence. What he meant by this is that humans are not born with a predefined purpose or nature. We first exist, and only later through our choices and actions do we define who we are. This idea is liberating, but also frightening. If there is no predefined essence, then each of us bears full responsibility for the life we create. This responsibility can lead to what existentialists call anguish or existential anxiety. Imagine standing before a set of infinite possibilities, realizing that every choice you make defines your life. You feel the weight of freedom, the freedom to act, to choose, to shape your destiny. Existentialists suggest that anxiety is not something to be avoided but an essential feature of human life, signaling that we are fully engaged with the challenge of living authentically. Closely linked to this idea of anxiety is the concept of freedom. Existentialist freedom is not the casual liberty to do as one pleases. It is the profound ability and burden to choose oneself. Every decision, every action becomes an affirmation of who we are and what we value. This freedom is intertwined with responsibility, meaning that the choices we make affect not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. To live authentically is to recognize this responsibility and to act in accordance with one's own values, rather than conforming blindly to social pressures or expectations. Another central theme of existentialism is the search for meaning. For many, life can seem absurd, especially in a world without inherent purpose or divine order. Albert Camus famously illustrated this in his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, where he imagined a man condemned to push a boulder up a hill for eternity only for it to roll back down each time. The absurdity of this task mirrors the human struggle to find meaning in a universe that offers none by default. Yet Camus argued that we can embrace the absurd and by doing so discover freedom and even joy in our existence. The challenge is not to discover an external or cosmic purpose, but to create meaning within our own lives through our actions, relationships, and passions. Existentialism is also deeply concerned with authenticity, living in a way that is true to oneself. To be authentic is to face reality without illusions, to acknowledge both freedom and mortality, and to commit to life with courage and integrity. Existentialists warn against what Sartre called bad faith, a form of self-deception in which we deny our freedom or responsibility, blaming fate, society, or other people for the life we lead. Bad faith may offer comfort or social acceptance, but it ultimately leads to alienation and despair. Authentic living, while challenging, is the path toward self-realization and genuine fulfillment. While existentialism may sound bleak, it is also celebratory of human creativity and resilience. By emphasizing freedom, responsibility, and the active creation of meaning, existentialists encourage us to live fully, embrace uncertainty, and engage deeply with the world. It is a philosophy that does not promise easy answers, but instead empowers individuals to craft lives of purpose, depth, and authenticity. Existentialist ideas are not just confined to philosophy textbooks. They resonate in literature, theater, psychology, politics, and even everyday decision-making. From the novels of Dostoevsky and Kafka to the plays of Beckett and Sartre, from the practice of existential therapy to reflections on modern life, existentialism invites us to confront the essential questions of what it means to be human. In this series, we will explore existentialism from its historical origins to its modern applications, examining key thinkers, concepts, and debates. We will see how ideas of freedom, responsibility, anxiety, and authenticity continue to shape the way we understand ourselves and the world around us. Whether you are a student of philosophy, a seeker of meaning, or someone simply curious about human existence, this journey promises insight, challenge, and inspiration. As we begin, remember that existentialism is not just a philosophy to study. It is a philosophy to live. By engaging with its questions, reflecting on its challenges, and applying its insights, we can learn to navigate our own lives with greater clarity, courage, and creativity. So, join us as we embark on this exploration of existentialism, the philosophy of freedom, anxiety, and the ever-present search for meaning. Welcome to the journey.